aware that they'll be live as soon as they get in here. So apologies if there's a bad language. They should be fairly well behaved. They usually are. So we'll start to let people in. I can see a few people in here. I'm going to admit them now. There'll be people joining as we go along as well. I can see Richard, I can see Toby, I can see Neil, I can see quite a few people coming in while we start off. So just
hello,
letting these people in. How you all doing? You all right?
Hello, yeah. How's everyone?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Everyone's looking fresh. I've got a new environment today, so apologies for low green screen. We're doing a bit of sorting out in the house, and there's a bit of a bit of mayhem in this room, but hopefully it will still be okay without my green screen. Sorry to let you all down.
I've got a ring light that I'm testing.
Oh God, you're so modern.
Do I look brighter?
You do.
Brighter.
My lighting today is brought to you by a very quirky old kind of steampunky thing. So there's that.
Ooh.
I'm like
plumbing.
I have a ring light because I need to smooth out my wrinkles.
Actually, this is my halo, but it keeps slipping, so I need to just put it down somewhere else.
A tacky little LED thing that I bought off the internet.
Mine came from China with a dose of Corona, but I bleached it.
It's got the curtains open.
We're all kind of becoming a little bit pro here, aren't we, by thinking about lighting and that kind of thing. It's like, you know, what are we doing? Although a few of us I see have still got drinks in our hands. So yeah, good on you, Craig, Lewis, etc. Oh, lots of other people as well.
I have this is sweet contribution.
Neil, I'll join you on tea.
What is that? Is that actually legal?
It's the vase.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Oh.
I hope that's not a single-use straw there.
Oh.
I seem to be in twice for some. Oh no, the second one's disappeared now. That's good.
I did see you queued up twice. I didn't know what that was about, but okay. I've got someone wanted to join called Maria. Not sure who that is, but we'll let them in and see what happens. So,
this could go horribly wrong.
Is that Alan's other name? Is it?
Only at the weekends.
I thought I knew you as Debbie.
How are we all though? Are you doing all right? It's good to see Charlie here with dodgy internet and a face full of food. Are you all right, Charlie? yeah.
Hungry.
Yeah, Charlie's eating for a change. We should make us some and send it.
Yeah. Maybe you should do like a recipe 1 month, 1 week, Charlie. Clean living. Are you ready for a marathon run nowadays, or?
No, I'm not really ready for anything, to be honest.
No, we need to sort something out. We need to have a bit of a competition at some point. We've sort of chatted earlier in the year before this lockdown thing about competing against one another at doing some sort of weird and wonderful challenge. But I feel you'll get a bit ahead of me.
I was meant to be doing the Great North Run for a charity, but they messaged me about it the other day, and I was like, guys, to be honest, I mean, like, I'm hardly the most risk-averse person, but like running shoulder to shoulder, sweating and panting with like thousands of people is probably assuming it goes ahead, it's a bit dodgy. So, yeah. So I said I'll try and do something else to raise money for them.
Oh, bless you. You're doing plenty of other things which attracted the public eye. So we'll come into the latest race that you did at some point, and I believe there was still some argy-bargy, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But Ian, you're known as Maria today. What's that all about?
Yeah. Well, thought I'd change my name again. That's Taz's Spanish name she goes by. So
okay. So fair enough. If you want to. Apart from Maria, who we all know is actually Ian, if you could go through one by one and just let people know your name and your Twitter handle. So, Richard, can we start with you?
Yep. Hello, I'm Rich Gooding, and my Twitter handle is richgooding.com, and I'm a freelance motor writer and graphic designer.
Lovely. Toby.
Hey, I'm Toby Trice, and my Twitter handle is Toby_Trice, and I'm a racing driver on a campaign to raise awareness for infertility.
Fantastic. Neil.
Hi, I'm Neil Briscoe. I'm a freelance motoring journalist, mostly writing for the Irish Times and CompleteCar.ie, and you can find me on Twitter, angry Twitter at the moment, at Neil M. Briscoe.
Lovely. Craig.
I'm Craig Woollard. I'm at Craig_Woollard, and I'm a freelance motorsport journalist, and I'm also a historian.
Lovely. Jess.
I'm Jess Shanahan. I am, like many here, a freelance motoring journalist, and I'm also known as the racing mentor. On Twitter, I am at JetLBomb.
Lovely. I love how nervous you all are, because you're kind of thinking, is he going to come to me next? And it's LA next. Go on, LA.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting my handle, and it's the simplest one
Yeah.
in the world. So it's at @1_LA, which is like, it's down there anyway on my
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of gate crashing really. I don't really do very much except a bit of dabbling here and there for Inside F2, which is the Formula 2 platform.
Lovely. Thank you. Alan, you do quite a bit.
I do a little. My name's Alan Bradley. I'm one of the presenters of the Motoring Podcast, a weekly news, automotive news podcast. I'm on Twitter. I'm at AJP Bradley, BRADLEY.
Fantastic. And Lewis.
My name's Lewis Kingston. I'm a freelance motoring journalist as well, and you can find me on Twitter at These Old Cars.
Lovely. Thank you, Lewis. Ben.
I'm Ben Hodges. I'm at Ben S3 Hodges on Twitter, and I am deputy editor of Car Buyer.
Thank you very much. Naomi, just you today?
Just me today. Tom sends his apologies. You have to make do with just me.
And your Twitter handle, please.
I'm Naomi Panter, and at Naomi Panter on Twitter. I'm a motorsport PR predominantly and co-founder of a company called Navigate.
Lovely. Thanks, Naomi. And Charlie Martin.
I'm Go Charlie M. I'm a racing driver and an LGBT role model.
Yes.
And I just had
Lovely. Dave.
I'm a motoring journalist, and I'm obviously Dave Humphreys, and I'm on all social media as at Lord Humphreys.
Excellent. And Ian or Maria, whatever you're going by today.
I'll go by Ian by now. Why not? Yeah, Ian from Pop Bang Colour. I'm normally painting with radio control cars, but for the last 3 weeks, several weeks, I've been painting 350 drawings.
How's that going? Because you kind of, I believe, you've hit the target that you needed to actually make it a real thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. So so the book has now achieved its target. So we were trying to get 7.5, and I think we're gonna get around about 9 by tomorrow. So
whoa,
which is great, amazing, like unbelievable. So it's much down to many guys on here who've been involved and backing it and sharing it. So it's really exciting. So that's the next little project to sort out.
It really is exciting. So you needed to raise a certain amount of money. You've gone above that. Does that mean all the books are sold, or are there still some available for people to buy?
Yeah, there's still some available because some people paid for their artworks through the crowdfunder as well. So because of how it worked with crowdfunding, you've got to get the full amount. If you don't hit the amount, then everything's refunded. Like whether you're £10 off or not, it's refunded. So we had to hit the 7,500 to get the amount. It's done really well. And what we've mainly been doing is conversations on Instagram, the Instagram live conversations, getting people involved in that, and creating cars to order. So selling the artworks. So that's the most recent one. That's the Ford World RX that was done with Andy Coley, the presenter, the voice of Rally RX. So that was really exciting because it felt like he was like commentating to me personally whilst I was doing it. So that was quite cool. I enjoyed it.
You've had some really incredible people on there. It must be kind of really nice for you to really chat to these people and have maybe like an hour of their time one-on-one to really kind of ask them questions. I know you're very busy as you're speaking to them, but it must be really good because you're kind of interviewing them at the same time. You must really see a good insight from people.
Yeah, it's been fascinating, honestly. And it's been a mixture of journalists, influencers, just people in the, several of you guys on here as well. Getting involved and finding out. I mean, one of the most interesting ones I think, was Andy Prio. He was fascinating. He was a really interesting, guy who's done so much motorsport, but his passion for that Ford GT project, you could really feel it, like how connected he was to that car. And I think he's kind of an overlooked racing driver because he is a champion, and I think he's overlooked because he hasn't won F1 or say touring car. He's gone across and done World Touring Car and Aussie V8s and all sorts.
Yeah, triple world champion. I think he might be. It's a family name that's kind of growing now, isn't it?
Yep.
So, and Charlie, so you've been
He's
racing
actually,
this weekend.
I was going to say he's actually one of very few modern drivers who've come from hill climb to go and race professionally as well, which is something that I've tried to do. So I've got a signed set box of sunglasses that when I met him, and he wrote "Good luck getting to Le Mans" or "Good luck at Le Mans." Something that did sound slightly like it was going to happen.
Until you're going.
Good luck getting to Le Mans.
Yeah. How did the race go then? Because I believe there were definitely some elbows out antics at the last. So you've been doing the Formula E race at home challenge, haven't you?
Yeah, it was horrible, to be honest. They only came to the track on Thursday evening, and they kept updating it throughout like the Friday. So there was no grip anyway, and then the grip levels kept changing because they kept doing different things to like the tweaking it. So yeah, it was just really hard. And then I started off, I was having a good battle for kind of like 20th, 21st position. And somebody just spammed me from behind on lap 2. And that was my race over really. So I've got to admit, it's frustrating, the format, because they do this elimination thing where after lap 2, they start eliminating whoever's in last place. And it is a bit, at the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, this is kind of different. But actually, when you're doing it like week in, week out, and they're kind of expecting you to put in like hours, and I mean, literally, like I've done on the game, it said I've done 160 hours of practice. I've driven over 2,000 kilometers in a Formula E car. And then you do that all week, and then you get 2 laps, and then you get eliminated. And you're just like, but I could have like carried on just having a battle with people. So I don't know. It's been good racing in it, and it's been some really amazing exposure. And everyone at Formula E is lovely, but I just feel a bit like, I don't know, I'm ready to sort of get my teeth into some proper racing.
I bet you are. I mean, it's going to be a learning curve for them guys as well. Hopefully they thought that might inject something a bit special, but I think a lot of us who are genuinely interested in motorsport know that the battle towards midfield to try and get into the points, for example, is often more entertaining than the battle at the front, where the quickest guy who got pole just disappears. So it's a shame that we don't get a chance to see you guys. Not saying that you're not going to be the ones kind of getting pole, but
you can see me because I record all my races, and then I kind of play them back with highlights on my YouTube channel. So if anyone does want to watch,
what's your YouTube channel? Is that Go Charlie M as well?
Yeah, just search Go Charlie. You'll find me everywhere.
Fair enough. Well, before we let the guest in, we'll do a couple of the things that have become quite regular features. Dave, I'm not sure because you've missed a couple. I'm not sure how many of these you've seen. Dave, have you done a Trackday owned scrap yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, now I'm
ready to do one on the spot.
Okay, well, we'll sort that out in just a moment. Have you also, and other guys there, I don't suppose you guys have brought a red and a green thing along with you so we could do a quick fire round? If not, Dave's looking around frantically just because he's wearing red, so maybe it's like disagree to everything. We have green.
There's something on the windowsill.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do quick fire round, and then we'll do we'll do a Trackday owned scrap for Dave. But first of all, we'll do the quick fire round. So if you've not done this before, Dave, then if you agree with the statement or the question, then hold up the green. If you disagree, then hold up the red. Simple as that. And try, if you can, to beat Toby, because Toby's super quick at this. Okay. Red or green? Toby, you can't jump the gun. You don't like the question.
I'll just hold my butt.
What if you neither agree nor disagree? What if you're...
you've got to pick one or the other. Just go with your instinct, and then, or do a kneel and just sit on the fence for everything. Okay, so the first one. This one's not really agree or disagree. This is a yes or no. So, you've driven a supercar.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you've driven it and forgotten it. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to get a
few people. We need to arrange some supercars for people. Okay, next one. You have a clean driving license.
Surprisingly.
Jess.
Oh, lots of people do. Craig, is that because you don't have a driving license, or you do, but there's
Exactly that.
yeah. Okay, you would if you had a license. Yeah. Okay, next one. This one's more of an opinion one, guys. Okay, Alfa Romeo is more desirable than Porsche.
Blimey.
We got a complete red out. Oh, Ian. Ian and Neil.
Oh.
Alan's in there as well.
Alan's in there. So Alfa Romeo is more desirable than Porsche.
They're like my
according
two
to
favourite car brands. You can't ask me to pick. It's like picking my kids. Come on.
Okay.
We all know you have.
That's one question.
I picked Dave.
Okay, next one's kind of a yes or no. You passed your driving test first time.
Surprisingly, again.
Wow, Lewis. Why
Just by-
surprisingly? Did anything happen?
Charlie, that
Yeah, it
would
was
be
involved in
disappointing.
sort of 2 or 3 near misses just before taking
in
it.
snow.
Charlie, have you been sunbathing and got burnt? You're aloe vera.
Aloe vera, yeah, I did. No, actually, no, I had some chafing.
You're doing this Formula E wrong.
No, not from Formula E, from running. I had some chafing on my inner thighs.
Okay.
Aloe vera. Is that
So you've got red and green there? Yeah.
A sports bra.
Okay, next one. Racing stripes are good. Dave's very red.
On what though? It depends.
Okay,
Anything.
okay. So it needs
Everything.
to be
Why do you have to ask?
Okay, let's move away from the world of cars. Indian food is better than Chinese food.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, still a bit of a mix. Okay. Next one. Social distancing is actually quite nice.
It's my favourite thing.
It's fine until you get into a shop that's very, very narrow.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
just
which they
becomes
always
a bit
seem
of
to
a
be.
pain.
Yeah.
It's
quite like to
awful.
see
I
my
want to
partner
hug
again.
Dave.
Okay, next one. I think I know where Richard's going to go with this one. Herbie is cooler than Kit from Knight Rider.
Of course.
100%.
No, a lot of love for Kit, I'm afraid, Richard. Well, I suppose it's 50-50. I'm going 50-50 on that. Green peppers, red tomatoes.
I'll take Herbie.
The thing is, Dean Jones is cooler than David Hasselhoff. So.
Oh, okay.
Done.
But I definitely looked really good in that car when I was driving it. So
Think how much better you'd have looked in a Beetle, though.
Okay, next one. You let your car get to empty before you refuel.
that's the oil as well.
When it starts smoking. Okay, next one's quite a controversial one. Okay, Rover deserved to die off. Lots of green. There's a couple of supporters of Rover, Richard and Lewis.
There's a reason why I did.
Yeah. Oh, Alan as well. Okay, final. Bit of a classic from the internet. Pineapple is nice on pizza.
Get on.
Hey, what is this?
Wow, so many split opinions.
You
Wow.
said no. Oh, you're so wrong. You're so bad.
So wrong. What have you gone for, LA?
Yeah, pineapple. I'll just have a pineapple pizza. Pineapple on bread. Doesn't matter.
Pineapple on bread.
It'll go soggy, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
Moist. Moist. Not like the word soggy. Moist is better.
Sorry about this, guys. Okay.
This is after the watershed, right?
No, it's not, but oh well.
Not quite yet.
I did give a warning before starting the live broadcast. I did warn people that this might happen, that LA might be present. Okay, what I'm going to do next then for Dave, special one for Dave, Trackday, Own and Scrap. So do you know the premise of Trackday and Scrap, Dave? Have you seen any of it before?
Well,
Okay.
I can imagine what it is. Yeah, so you got to choose which was which. Yeah.
That's it. We're going to spin a wheel. It's quite familiar to the other guys.
Okay.
We're going to spin it 3 times for you. One of the cars will pop up. You need to Trackday, one you need to own, and one you need to just scrap. So I'm going to attempt a screen share. This is the bit where it always goes really, really poorly. So again, I'm going to wait on you guys to let me know when you can see a wheel, if you can ever see a wheel.
It'll get there.
I'll get there. What can you guys see at the moment? Just black.
I can see a wheel.
You've got the wheel, the familiar wheel.
The wheel of fortune.
Dave, you can see it. Crucially, you can see it, Dave. Yep. Okay, I'm going to spin it 3 times. So the first one for you. Now it's spinning quite freely on mine, but I think there's a bit of a delay for you guys. So I'll give it a few seconds before I say what's popped up. So I don't know if you can see it there, but your first car is a Caterer 6. Your next car, you just need to get the 3 and then you'll have to pick. So the next car that you've got is coming up as the Mercedes 190 Cosworth. And your third car, Dave, is Racing Stripes. We have a Dodge Viper GTS. Oh. So of those 3, which one are you keeping, which one are you scrapping, and which one are you just popping on a track day with?
I'm going to, purely for the shits and giggles, I'm going to track day the Viper.
Go on then. Yeah.
Going to scrap the Caterham.
Okay.
And I'll be happy enough living and owning a 190 Cosworth.
I think that's a fair result. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, while we've got the thing up in front of us now, what I'm going to do is a slight variation on the old Trackday owned scrap. So excuse that, I've just accidentally spun it. So what we're going to do is start with Craig. I'm actually going to spin it twice. And rather than Trackday owned and scrap, I'm going to ask you to keep one and pass one on to the next person on my list. And the next person on my list is Neil. Okay. So you're going to keep one car, pass one on to Neil. We'll then spin it for Neil. He'll get 2. So he'll keep one and pass one on. So he'll get the one that you gave him, the one that he's kept, and then someone else will get one from him. When it all loops round, then the final person will then pass one on to you, Craig. Does that kind of make sense? Or should we just give it a go and it will make sense as we go along?
Yep.
Yeah, we can make sense. Okay, so there's only going to be 2 spins this time, Craig. So the first 2, you've got to keep one and you've got to pass one on to Neil. So the first car that you've got to choose, I don't know if you can see it there. I've got a BMW Z8. Okay, and your second car, Craig? Has drifted into the Jaguar C-Type. So you've got to keep one of those, a BMW Z8 or a Jaguar C-Type, and the other one you're going to gift to Neil.
I'm keeping the C-Type and giving the BMW to Neil.
How did I know that?
Know that. Right, gets the C-Type. So Neil, you're next. So you already have you've been lumbered with the Z8. I'm going to spin it twice. So you get to pick one of these next 2. Oh, okay. So I'll wait for a few seconds in case there's a bit of a delay here.
Oh, well.
So you've got a Metro 6R4 as your first one that you can either keep or pass on. So
I will keep the 6R4 and I will pass on the Z8, please.
Well, we're gonna. The Z8 is yours no matter what.
Oh, no.
So we're spinning again. Yeah, you know, you've got the Z8. So the 6R4 or the BMW E30 M3.
Oh, God,
your choices. So the person to pass it on to would be Toby.
Right. Okay. God, that's really hard, actually.
No, it's not.
It is. Shut up, all of you. 6R4 is a magnificent beast. No, I'm gonna have to be horribly predictable and keep the M3, and I'll pass on the 6R4 to you, Toby.
I wanted the M3.
Well, I would have thought the predictable thing would be to keep the Metro. So I'm quite. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Toby?
I actually wanted the M3.
Did you?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
you can have the
Z8. Okay, Toby. 2 spins for you. So you've already got a 6R4 in the garage. You're not allowed to get rid of that one. That was a nice gift from Neil.
All right, to be fair.
So you're going to be gifting to Charlie, by the way.
Okay.
So your first car is a Lancia Delta Integrale.
Oh, that's a cool car.
Okay, and your next one to either keep or pass to Charlie is the Honda NSX Type R.
I'm keeping the NSX, and I'm going to pass the Lance on to Charlie.
It's a car I've always wanted to own. So
they're both desirable, aren't they? They're both awesome cars.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there was a bad answer there for Charlie.
No.
That was a bit of a result, wasn't it? Okay, Charlie, so you're up next. You've already got a Lancia in the garage. So 2 for you, 1 you keep, 1 you pass on. You'll be passing on to Ben Hodges. Oh, okay. So the first one that's popped up in front of me here now is a Volvo 850 touring car.
Okay.
Okay. And your second car?
I mean, that would do everything if it was road legal.
Well, you could, yeah, I'm sure you could tweak it. You're quite handy with a hammer and a lathe, aren't you? So I'm sure you could make it into a road legal car. And your other one's an aerial Nomad. So you've got the Lancia in the bank, and you've either got to keep the aerial or the Volvo and pass the other to Ben.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna keep the Nomad, just for sheer like proper Armageddon when it really comes.
That's next week then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready. I'll be like, yeah, the Nomad. Okay. Cool.
Excellent. So Ben gets the touring car. Ben, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, let's give you a couple of spins. You got a touring car in the garage. Your first one is the old Shelby Mustang that we like to know as Eleanor.
It's not bad. Scottish drive.
Not bad, not bad. And the next one. Okay, you've got the old Alpine.
Oh, I'll have to keep the Alpine.
You got to keep the Alpine. So you got a touring car in the garage and an Alpine.
Yeah, nothing road legal. It's all good. Nothing
Cool.
works.
What was the other one before we pass it on to Dave? Oh, sorry, I forgot to say you've got to pass it on to Dave. So the Eleanor, the GT500 Mustang goes to Dave. Yep. All right, Dave. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'm ready to scrap that straight away.
You've already had your Trackday unscrapped. Right, okay. So that's in your garage. You've got to keep it because there's a lovely gift.
Okay.
But you're two then.
Somebody's getting Eleanor as a wedding present.
Okay, this might be more your sort of thing. So I've got an old Lotus Elan. Okay.
Bathtub.
So that one you've either got to keep or pass on. By the way, you'll be passing on to Ian of Pop Band Colour fame. Okay. And your other one is the Mercedes, basically the safety car.
I will keep that. And
you're going to keep that.
Happily move that lots of trouble, usually serious, onto somebody else.
Oh, well, Ian's used to cars that basically don't have anything apart from an engine and a driver. And well, he'll just be pleased to have 4 wheels on it, I should think. So, so you get the Elan. Ian, are you there? You ready for your 2?
I'm ready.
Ready for your 2. Okay. So the Lotus is in the bank. Oh, that's a good start. Okay, I'll wait a few seconds because there's a bit of a delay.
Oh, hello.
You got yourself a Dino.
Dino, nice.
Dino. So, well, the person to pass on to would be Naomi. It depends how much you like Naomi, whether you want to give her a car like that. So you can either keep that one.
Free Lotus as well.
Yeah, you got your free Lotus. That's it. That's done. Yeah. And your next car. Oh, Ian. Okay, I'll give it a few seconds again. You get the Alpha 33 Stradale as well.
Oh, very nice.
Been your lucky day, really, isn't it? But no, it's quite a tough decision.
I'll keep the Dino. I'll keep the Dino, and you can have a free Lotus as well. Whoever wants the Lotus, because that's.
I'll take the Lotus.
Yeah, take it honestly.
Okay, Naomi, that means you get the Alpha. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. That's all right, isn't it? Okay, let's give you 2 then. I'll remove that one. Hang on.
Can I just say, I was hoping the rules would be slightly different, and like the Z8 would get passed around the whole group, and eventually I'd actually cover it. I think I must be the only person on the chat who covers that car.
Wow. Instead of that, you got a Vauxhall. So,
fun.
You know, fun. So the VX, it's a turbo, I believe, that one. So you've got the Alpha 33 Stradale in the bank. Now you can either hand that one over to Jess, who's next on my list, or you can keep that one, and we'll go for a much more meaty car. We have an Aston Martin, a proper Aston Martin Vantage, not one of these newfangled ones, but a proper brute.
I don't think I have any choice but to take the Vantage. Jess, I'm sorry.
Got to,
you
haven't
can
you?
have Vauxhall, if that's all right.
I actually wanted one of those Vauxhalls as a child who knew no better.
Did you? Well, there you go. And Naomi's giving you one, so you couldn't have worked out any better. Okay, Jess, you ready for your two?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a spin. Okay, so as well as the VX 220 that's in the bank, you've got the choice of keeping or passing on to Rich Gooding a McLaren. Again, I'm not really 100% sure which one that is. It looks like a red one. And a McLaren, and you've also got another red car. You've got the Audi R8 V10. So Rich is either getting an Audi or a McLaren.
I will keep the McLaren and Rich can have the Audi.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Rich. Not too bad, is it?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So you've got an R8 V10. You'll be passing one of these two cars, these next two cars, on to Lewis. So your first car, Richard. We have a Bentley Continental.
Okay.
Okay, so an Audi R8 in the garage, a Bentley Continental, or it's a Nissan GTR, and I believe that's the Nismo one.
Instinct says keep the Nissan and pass on Bentley.
Okay. You can stick with the instincts, are you? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reluctantly give a Bentley to Lewis. I'm sure Lewis won't be too worried. Lewis, are you there? You ready for your two?
Yeah, by all means.
Come on. There's only a few cars left on this wheel now, so that's good. Oh, the one that Toby got the first time we did this. So you now have a classic Ford GT40.
Okay.
You'll be passing on to LA, by the way, and we know LA does like a American V8. So there's that one. You can keep that, or you can keep. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
The Maserati.
Well, we all know how this is going to pan out, don't we?
Boomerang lights. Hello.
Sorry, I'm in the market of only having good cars for the most part. So,
so you're going to keep the Ford?
I think in this case, yes. The Maserati is not without its appeal in certain facets, but for the most part, that's not one for me. So I shall have to pass that on, I'm afraid.
I think LA would rock that Maserati better than you anyway, Lewis. So
it's a fair point.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll take it. That's fine.
Take it, Maserati. Okay, so LA, you'll be keeping one of the next two and passing another one on to Alan.
Okay.
So as well as the Maserati. Okay. Talking of American V8s, we have a little red Corvette. So keep it along those lines. And your other car to choose from, whether to give it to Alan. I'm sure he actually does quite like the Corvette. Oh, Alan. So LA, your next car is a Lamborghini Diablo.
Right. Oh dear. You see.
They're both so Alan.
Yeah, I'm just giving Alan the Corvette. I'm gonna keep the Lambo.
You're gonna keep the Lambo. Alan gets the Corvette.
I always wanted to get in a car where I kept smacking my head, because I'm 5'8". So yeah, I'll do that. That's if that.
Okay.
That way.
Okay, Alan,
head smacking fantasies. Yes.
Alan, you've got a Corvette in the bank. Then you need to keep one, and then it loops round. So you'd be given one to Craig, who's been so very patiently waiting to see what he's going to get given. So, Alan, as well as the Corvette, your first choice is the Lotus Esprit V8.
Ooh, that's a strong keeper.
Strong keeper. And the final spin gives us the Ford Capri.
Yeah, Craig, you've got the Capri, mate. I'm sorry. It's. I've driven one. It's fine, but no, honestly, I will keep. I will keep the Lotus.
You'll keep the Esprit. Well, Craig's already got a C-type sat in his garage from earlier on in the round, so I'm sure the Capri will complement that nicely.
It'll probably get neglected a little bit, I reckon.
Is that going to be the one that you abuse on track? Is it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, just clean the C-type.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Brands Hatch is probably my closest track, so that's the best place to chuck it around. End up rolling it down Paddock Hill Bend.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
The Capri has the biggest ashtrays of anything I have ever driven.
Wow.
That's because only manly cigar smokers drive Capris.
It's the one in the front. It's like a bucket in the middle of the dashboard. It's incredible.
There you go. Craig's everything you ever wanted when you're on track going down Paddock Hill Bend. At least you've got a massive ashtray.
Oh, I've never smoked a cigar in my life, so.
Oh,
perfect,
seriously? Why not?
Well, I'm not fancy enough to smoke a cigar.
Well, thanks for that. Hopefully you all kind of ended up with some cars that you actually quite like. I'm not sure what ended up happening to that Lotus. I think the Lotus Elan, Ian ended up having that one. What we're gonna do in just a moment is add a guest. I believe you are all aware of who's coming in. I think Richard actually had a few questions maybe for Sue Baker. So I'm just going to let Sue in. Hopefully she's ready and waiting. I can see she's sat in the waiting room for a while. Sue, can you hear us?
Nobody's saying anything.
Sue, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
At the moment is fantastic. Okay, I've got a bit of feedback there, Sue, so we'll try and work our way around that. And if you're able to turn the volume down, it might be quite helpful. But if not, we'll figure a way around it.
How's that?
That sounds fantastic. How are you doing? You all right?
I had the volume on the computer. I got that, so I can see you all on there as well.
No worries at all. You know, I kind of do the same, and I've confused myself a few times when I hear myself talking back to me.
That's okay.
Have you had a good day so far today on a bank holiday Monday?
Yes, yeah. I mean, lockdown is so strange, isn't it? I can't believe that it's been 60, 61, 62 days already, and we've all been shut in and itching to get out of the cars, but you know, who can do it?
That's it. We're all in the same boat. I think we're kind of making the best of it. It's actually been quite good to be able to have this kind of thing happening. You know, a few weeks before lockdown, Craig and I had met up in a pub and said, it would be great to get everyone together. I think actually, Sue, you were there at the when we did the Influx event, where quite a few of you guys were there as well.
I was. That was great. Yeah, great fun evening that was.
It was good, wasn't it? We got to see some fantastic talkers and yeah, and then head to the pub afterwards. A lot of us did. And I think that Charlie, there's some pictures somewhere of me and you in a photo booth or something. I'm not sure if I've got them or you've got them.
I thought you had a phone party.
I don't remember that bit.
Remember that bit? Yeah, I got
no. No, but Sue, you kind of know a few guys here, of course, and when I mentioned that you were coming in, Richard seemed to be quite excited about the fact of having to spend a bit more time with you, because I think you've kind of you've had a few chats over the years, haven't you, Richard?
Oh, yeah. Hello, Sue.
Hello, hi there. Hi, Richard.
I was just going to ask you, like a lot of us, I've been watching, well, as we discussed a few weeks ago, the old rally shows on YouTube, and where you were in the studio doing the updates from the day. What did you really enjoy about doing that? How was it meeting the drivers? And do you know what the other presenters are doing now?
I do, yes. It was great fun doing Top Gear Rally Report. I didn't like the bits in the studio, you know, that was when you were in the dry, and actually I wanted to be out there where the action was. So being out on the stages interviewing people was just incredible. William Woollard was the other main presenter at the time, and he is no longer involved in television. He has written a number of learned books on Buddhism. He's gone a completely different route with his life. I mean, the world still knows Woolarding, and with everyone putting their feet on wheels, but Woollard has gone off in a completely different direction. But I'm in contact with him from time to time, and he's enjoying life, and he's well away from cars now.
Oh, good.
He sits up on the top of mountains, meditating.
And didn't you have you did rallying when you were younger, didn't you?
I did, yes. I started doing rallying on with a local group, the Bexley Light Car Club in Kent, and that was in the days when you could do these wonderful Saturday night rallies where you drove through the night, went at ridiculous speeds on public roads. How we got away with it, I don't know. But it became very expensive, and I couldn't afford to do it as a driver. So then I took up co-driving, which was tremendous fun. And the pinnacle of my co-driving career was to sit alongside Michelle Mouton on a rally that we won. When I say we won it, she won it. I was sitting beside her. Quite an extraordinary driver.
I think that counts as a win, doesn't it? Yeah, I think there's all credit to you for that. What was it actually like then to be kind of thrown around at those kind of speeds?
Well, it was quite extraordinary. It was the Audi Sport National Rally through Wales, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, that Michelle Mouton is the only driver who has ever made me throw up. And we were in a short wheelbase quattro, and it reeked of petrol fumes. So I think it was partly her driving and partly the reek of petrol going up my nose that my stomach didn't let go after a while. But hey ho, I was filming it for the BBC at the time, and when we pulled into the next service bay, nothing was said about the fact that the service crew had to clean up the car somewhat. But as we drove away, I noticed there was a little row of airline sick bags in the door pockets. just in case. Yeah.
And have you ever done any of that kind of driving yourself then?
Not as mostly Saturday night rallies. The co-driving I did was the really serious stuff. I did some track stuff as well. I worked at Brands Hatch for a year, which was just a tremendous time in the sort of heyday of saloon car racing, and wonderful drivers like Jerry Marshall and Tony Lanfranchi and so on. And in fact, I was talking to Ian Popman Colour about that a few days ago. It was just an amazing time to be involved. I go back a very long way. I'm clearly by far the oldest person on this ZoomZoomers, but I do have a memory going back to motor racing in the 1970s. So that was fun.
And you're still very active, of course, because we've worked together on a few things. And your Twitter handle is CarScribe, because at the moment you're writing quite a bit about cars still. So you're still very active right now. What kind of publications are you writing for at the moment?
Well, I really only write about cars. I do a lot for a magazine called Diesel Car and Eco Car, and I do a column for them as well as stuff about all kinds of cars. And I write for some trade magazines and some websites. And I just love it. I will cling with my claws onto the motoring scene as long as anyone is prepared to employ me, because what's not to like? It's such fun. Have a wonderful.
It really is fun. It actually brings me quite nicely onto a very fun part of this ZoomZoomers, which hopefully you can take part in, Sue. You might need a paper and a pen if you haven't got one. Okay. I'm hoping Neil's son Ray.
I'm a journalist, so I always have a paper and a pen.
Just in case.
He says dropping the pen.
I'm hoping Neil's son Ray has been active again this week to produce another 5-question quiz for us, Neil. Is that the case?
Yeah,
he has indeed. Let me try and remember what we did last week to try and get this working.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you can remember.
Give me a second.
Okay, we'll talk amongst ourselves for a few moments.
That was a long time ago. We've all slept since then. So,
many things have happened since then.
I've noticed some people have had haircuts, and Jess's looks particularly beautiful. And Damien.
Always looks beautiful.
So are you all going out now to see your hairdressers?
I'm married to one.
Oh, Jess.
I do mine.
I washed and brushed mine.
Oh.
But I have hair dye coming this week. I couldn't wait any longer. I need to go back to pink.
Yeah.
Cute.
I just risked it with the clippers in front of the bathroom mirror again. It's
But how do you do it with glasses? Because I have to wear contacts.
I find that the sides are okay because I can see that, and I'm not completely blind, but it's the back and just the back. So my hair looks fine from the front. I have no idea what it's like from the back, but all that matters at the minute, because I'm not actually going out and seeing people, is that it looks okay on screen like this. So that's really what
you look fantastic on screen.
It's actually, this was an improvement over today. Yeah, I've been wearing a hat all day, to be honest, because I made a complete mess of it this morning because it's way too long on top.
Oh, fair enough.
Sorry,
Neil, how are we getting on?
Damien, you need to enable guest screen sharing because it's switched off at the moment.
Oh, well, how do I do that? Let's have a look. Advanced sharing options. Let's give that a whirl. All participants. Let's give that a whirl. Try again.
Here we go.
Be very careful about giving Neil any kind of power or speed. Goes right to his head.
We all know it's actually just Ray that's got the power here. It's not actually Neil.
Very true. Now, can we all see something?
I can see a black screen.
There we go.
Hey,
Hello and welcome to the absolutely humongous, enormous, huge, and very, 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 very big motoring quiz. What was the company that made the engine for the McLaren F1?
I'll give an extra second and go.
The answer? BMW. Which nationality is Nicolas Latifi?
Everybody got an answer?
Yep.
Here we go.
The answer? French Canadian.
We accept Canadian.
Can all right.
What Dutch car company was bought by Volvo in 1975?
Give me an extra second.
The answer? Daft. It's time for Guess That Car, most people's favorite one. Guess this car from these pictures. The answer? The Ford GT 2005. What was Adrian Newey's first ever Formula One design? The answer? The March Leighton House 881. And thanks everyone for playing, or everyone who did play. And we'll see you next week. I hope you got some right. And thank you.
Very good, Ray.
Fantastic.
Mega. That's funny.
That's so good.
Well done. Is he there again today, Neil?
Sorry?
Is he there again today, or is he?
No, he's actually downstairs watching Grayson Perry with his mum. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
So cool.
Really cool. Well,
did anybody get all five?
Yes.
Yeah, you nerd.
I actually can't believe I got them all right, but I got them all
Well
right.
done.
Well done, Dave. Who got
Anybody
four
else?
then?
Who got four? Yeah.
I got 4.
4? No.
Nicely done.
3.
3.
3.
2 threes.
I got like 2.5.
Okay, we'll give you that.
Oh, 2.5. How did
Rounds
you
up
get
to
half a
3.
point?
For half.
Well, because I put a forward, but I didn't know what the rest of it was. So.
Oh, come on. 2.2.
Well,
2 points.
2. Jess, Richard, and 1. Ben.
Toby.
Toby.
Oh, Toby, that's not very. You're not holding that up very high, are you, Toby?
No.
Welcome to my world.
Which one did you get, Toby?
I got the first one right, and that was it.
Was it?
Yeah, the red threw me on the Ford. I was leaning at the 430, and I was like, got it wrong.
I think we could all agree that the winner was Ray, as always, on that one.
Yeah,
Ray. When does Ray? Because he's still 9, isn't he? When does he turn 10?
He turns 10 in July. July 17th is his birthday.
Okay, well, we have to make sure we do something special for his 10th. Give him a special mention.
We had planned a trip to Stuttgart to go to the Porsche Museum, but obviously that's not happening. So I just have to buy him some toy 917s instead.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, is he into cars? I guess just generally.
Oh,
he's inevitably
just
into
slightly,
cars.
just slightly.
Yeah.
Actually, anybody who's got kids at the moment, the Blue Peter and McLaren have got a contest. They've just announced to design a future McLaren supercar, which will obviously only be worth £20,000 in 3 years' time. But he's entered it. It's a really cool competition. It's a really nice idea. So I just encourage anyone to do that. And it kills an hour,
Yeah. I'm tempted to pretend that I'm a kid because I still feel like I am. And then when I look at my, date of birth, or when I look at people who are 19, 20 years old now, and I just go, oh my God, they're so young. I still feel like I'm around that age. But then you meet people that age and they're completely different species, aren't they? So
they use TikTok and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate TikTok.
Who here's got a TikTok account?
I set one up, but I've never used it. I just tried to get my name.
I'm obsessed with looking. I lose so much time just looking at TikTok.
It's because you can't get out of it easily. You kind of go out and it just brings up another video, doesn't it? You go, no, I want to go, and it goes, oh, I have another video instead. You've got to actually go, no, I really actually definitely want to leave now. I can see how people will lose hours and hours over it. Yes, it's quite interesting, but I've never kind of put too much effort and time into mastering it because I can see that being a bit of a rabbit hole to go down.
My other half is obsessed by it. We can spend half an hour at the end of the night just looking at rubbish, complete rubbish.
Yeah. What sort of stuff do you see on there? Do you see stuff that's actually relevant, or do you get like really random stuff?
No, they're really random stuff, but there's a lot of animal stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Well, a lot of people doing dancing. Doing things with dogs, and that's about it, really.
You're not winning me over with that. Get arrested.
It's a different app. Okay, guys. I kind of to bring it back on track. I gave you a bit of a poser during the week. I also asked Sue to consider this as well. Imagine a friend has come to you. Imagine a friend. Just imagine.
What's one of those?
I don't even know what that feels like.
You're all here. This is it. This is all I've got.
Imagine a friend has come to you with for some car advice. So they've got £10,000 budget. They want a sporty car, but they need 4 seats. So hopefully you've had a bit of a chance to have a think about what you might suggest. Dave, I don't know if you saw this one or whether you were in the loop on this one or not. So I'll perhaps give you a few more moments to think about it.
Sporty car, 10 grand, 4 seats.
But exactly that. So a mate has said, I want something sporty. I need 4 seats. I've got 10 grand. Let's start with Alan, because Alan's scratching his chin. I wonder if
what Alan has done is Alan missed out the word sporty in all of this.
Oh, okay.
And is now having
sporty.
And is now having an existential issue with it. So I'm going to say it's a sporty utility vehicle.
Okay.
Because I found what I felt was an absolute cracker, which is 4 seats, sportish, but it's 32,000 miles. One owner from new, a Lexus RX 400h. I figured that was quick, loads of space for family and stuff, and dirt cheap.
Yep, and anything sporty.
The only trouble is it's about as sporty as a dustbin. Sorry, Lexus. It's true. It's none of the rest of it is like a dustbin, but it's not sporty. Sorry, fail.
No, that's still fine. It's hybrid. That counts as extra power, doesn't it? And it's if you're going through the congestion charge zone, then it's faster than most other things. So we'll let you have that.
ULEZ compliant.
Yeah.
So it says the advert on Auto Trader anyway.
So Alan, just put some stripes on it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a big triangle stickers up the side of it. Be perfect. Nobody will know the difference.
Okay, then LA. That seems your car probably does have stripes. What have you come up with? You've actually got a picture.
Don't laugh.
No, sorry.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for this? Okay. So this is a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and it could even maybe have Spider in brackets after it. So a friend of mine had one of these years ago, and it was like, I don't know, it was a bit of a limited edition, and yeah, it was beautiful. You know, I was sort of being a passenger in Ferraris and, you know, big cars at the time, but I don't know, there's something a bit special about this one. And you know, it's got a V6 engine, not V8 but V6. All right, it's okay. 3 litre 24 valve, but twin turbocharger. So you know how I like my turbos, and it's got 2 of them. It was like a mashup with Chrysler and Mitsubishi at the time. 6-speed manual, as it improved in years. So we're talking about 94-ish, 94 to 96. But it could get to like 60 mile per hour in 4.8 seconds. That's faster than my 106.
It is.
You know, it's a no-brainer. And
I want to be the friend that asks you this question. That's going to be fantastic, and you come out with all this.
Like what? But I'm not finished yet. So,
Okay.
wait, it already had 18-inch chrome wheels. It was This car was amazing. It's really heavy, but really fast on the track. It was amazing. And these days, so you got your 10 grand. You can buy one between 8 to 10 grand. Reliable, and it doesn't just hold its price, it can increase in price as well. You know, a guy online bought one for about 2.5 grand a few years ago, and it's now worth nearly 5. So yeah, why not? Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and I look good in it.
There you go. We'll see if anyone else has a similar sort of idea to that. Richard, what have you gone for?
This is a bit of a consumer section, isn't it? Or becoming a consumer section. Advice section. I was probably a Golf R32 because understated. It's V6. It has 5 seats, maybe 4 doors if you want them. And I remember sitting in one that a friend had a few years ago, and the noise it made was fantastic. This guy also had a 993 maybe, which could maybe a 964 might be under 10 grand. I'm not sure now, but I think to go in the back of that, well, I had to sit across the back seat, and I'm not tall, so I think you'd have to cut your legs off if you had 4 people in it. Yeah. So I think the Golf.
The Golf.
R32, yeah.
R32. Ian, what do you think you'd go for?
Well, I think the plan would be, I mean, you could have like a rotten Chevette, couldn't you? Which you may have been handed down to you by your uncle because you didn't want to see it being scraps. So have a Chevette, which you kind of ignore for a couple of years, and it gets a bit more rotten. And then you get married. And then you need the spare room emptied of all the marriage stuff, and that's going to garage, and the car has to go off to be somewhere to be restored, and then you start finding out how much it costs to restore a Chevette. So I think a bronze Chevette with an MX-5 conversion, you know, because you can buy an MX-5 Mark II MX-5 for £450. So you can take the gearbox and the engine from the Chevette, from the Mazda, put it into the Chevette, then lower the Chevette and make it a bit more prettier. This might be a true story, by the way.
It sounds like it very much is. So,
So you soon find out that a Chevette that's probably worth not a lot, but is the same year as a Mark I Escort. So there's a comparison. The Mark I Escort is that it could cost you about £10,000 before it's even really kind of put back together. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, you have to take the car apart, and that costs you like 1,500, £2,000 to take it apart.
Yeah.
And then to take the paint off it, that costs money, and then put paint back onto it, that costs more money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd go for a Chevette because I've got no experience in that, and that's what's happened.
Okay. So your advice to a friend would be have an uncle that needs to get rid of a Chevette, and then buy it. Get an MX-5.
You get me?
Okay.
Then buy it 5. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right, Charlie. Similar.
To be honest, I didn't even know this was happening.
That's all right. So on the spot, then. On the spot, 10 grand.
Well, I was just looking on eBay, and I noticed you can buy a Maserati Quattroporte for 10 grand. The brave man who buys one of those, but for 10 grand. But I was trying to see if you could get an Audi RS4 B7 for 10 grand, but I think you probably could get a horrific one that had a lot of problems.
Hey, it would still be better than a Chevette, wouldn't it? So
I had one for about 18 months, and it was the best thing ever. And I even had a tow bar on it, which you weren't meant to do, and then I used it to tow my Westfield. It was so quick even towing the car.
So aerodynamic.
It just tanked. I had a company fuel card, so I was like, hey,
end it. But you'd go for a Maserati then. You've actually managed to find one there for 10 grand.
Well, no, this is their buying it, so it's not my. I could then just live. Through them, and then I'd be like, oh, sorry, it's not my problem when it just went wrong and cost some money. I don't know. I was trying to see if you could get a 4-door M3 for that kind of money.
It doesn't have to have 4 doors, as long as it's got four seats. So any kind of M3 will be fine.
Yeah, any M3 then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Craig, what would you go for?
I haven't got any sort of reasonably decent option that hasn't already been mentioned. I think the Golf sounds like the best one that's already been thrown around tonight. So I'll probably also go on that sort of.
Yep, you got a second to Golf. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Neil, sorry to talk in pounds rather than euros, but what do you reckon?
Well, I live in Belfast, so I can operate in either or both, so that's okay. I think I'll pay Ian £10,000 just to keep telling that story over and over again, because I think that's the best value of the night, isn't it? Okay, I got two options. One, 2003 Ford Mondeo ST220 V6.
Okay.
For about 3 or 4 grand, and spend the rest on a nice holiday when we can have holidays again. Or I did find on Auto Trader. Let me just click it up again. 1972 Rover P6 3.5 litre V8 for 9.5 grand. Immaculate chocolate brown. I mean, how could you say no? It's just such an awesome car.
I'd really choose that over the Mondeo, wouldn't you?
It's the British Citroen DS.
Yeah,
I nearly said that, but being mostly Irish, I felt I couldn't make that claim. But I'll let you do that, Alan.
Ben, what have you got for us then, Ben? I think you're on mute there, Ben.
There we go. Back.
There we go.
So I was having to think about not spending the entire budget, so I decided on this, which is a Alfa Romeo Barrera 3.2 JTS, I believe. 8,500 quid, 2008, 3.2 litre V6, and it's beautiful. And it will never work, but it will look great with the bonnet up, with an AM man bending over looking at the engine. So, but yeah, that's the one I'd have. And then I'd recommend it, and then we wouldn't be friends anymore.
But there's money in the bank then to try and keep it going. Yeah. That's a good tactic, that. So, a breakdown rescue membership as well as part of the 10 grand. Yeah, and an extra car for all the spares that you'll need. Cool. Naomi, what do you fancy?
So I might preface this. I know that no one's going to agree with me. So I went back to my definition of sportiness, and I suppose that we talked about in one of our first ever calls. And so the choice I'm going to make is by Sue's definition. Certainly, it's the only car where I've driven where my passenger has thrown up. So I'm taking that as sporty, and I'm going for noise over actual sportiness, probably. Actually, it was slightly inspired by you, Dave, because the first car of this type you drove, and I was in it, and it did scare the daylights out of me. So I'm going to go for a little 3-cylinder car. So in David, in your case, it was the Twingo, but I'm going to say, because I want to pick a car I've driven, I'm going to say the Me by Mango specifically, which I know is not nice, right? But I loved the one I had for a week. I drove the hell out of it, and it was very fun and very noisy and very sweet. And they're really cheap now as well for very new ones. So I'm actually genuinely looking at one now. So there you go.
Oh no. So that over a Chevette then for the Me.
Tempting.
What actually is it, a Me? Who makes it?
Me, it's a cardboard box with a 3-cylinder engine in the front of it in this case.
Where does it come from?
It's part of the family of the Up and the, what's the Skoda version? The City something?
City
Go.
Okay. Yeah, but it's the only one in that family I've driven. But I really like the sound of the little 3-cylinder 1-liter engine type thing. Quite enjoy those.
Lovely. Oh, you mentioned Dave though. So Dave, you've driven quite a few cars in your time. What do you fancy for about 10 grand?
So I'm going to be quite wise. I'm not going to spend all the 10 grand. You'll only need 3 grand for a very nice 1997 Mazda MX-6.
Okay.
It's not an MX-5, which is the most obvious choice, has 4 seats, and is rapidly becoming rarer than rocking horse shit these days. So, and I think it's kind of a cool looking car. So there you go. And you have £7,000 left over.
It is a Ford Probe though.
You're a Ford Probe.
I wish I was a Ford Probe.
Hey, it's a front-wheel drive Mustang. Don't knock it.
Sue, have you had a chance to think about what you would suggest to a friend who wants to spend £10,000?
Well, yes, I have. I'm a bit of a sucker for a drop top. I love being able to put the roof down in the summer. And I'm sorry, this is a bit of a theme, but Golf GTI convertible would be what I'd go for. Just such fun, it skitters around. It's tremendous fun to drive, and just to be able to have the wind blowing, but a roof that goes up and actually does the job of shutting out the wind and rain, which a lot of them in the past didn't. It's just a great fun little car for me.
Yeah, good, fantastic. Another vote for a different kind of golf, but the Golfs are doing really well in this round here. So Toby, are you going to go golf as well?
Well, I've got 2 answers. The first one's a little bit of a joke. So I was thinking of like a kind of mad European road trip with a friend for 10 grand, and what car I could drive with him and how I can make it sporty. So this car I would actually buy, probably lower it and stick a random spoiler on and maybe some stickers, but it will be a Fiat Panda, because that would be quite a fun journey.
Oh, okay, an older one, yeah.
A Mark 1, right? But then I was actually thinking a bit more seriously in what I would offer to my friend, and I was having a little browse around, and I think it would be a BMW M6. It's a lot of car for the money. You can pick them up for about 10 grand or 2006. You've got 500 horsepower of fun, and you can use it daily. So I think that would be my answer.
You get an M6. How much was the M6?
10 grand. I found one 10 grand.
You found one for 10 grand. And like Lewis just pointed out there, maybe it cost your friend quite a lot of money to,
well, that's fine,
to keep going. But that's their problem. All right, Lewis, who has all the answers. Go on in.
I'll walk straight into that one again.
Yeah, as you often do. Yeah.
Well, I tried to put, I sort of usually equate sportiness with low weight and being fun to drive and good sort of blend of performance and the rest. But I thought actually most of my friends who are looking to buy something like that would only want something that they perceive to be sporty, a car they get in and drive down the road and go, hey, this is great fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
I thought, okay, something like that that's got that 4-seat capability, it's got a bit of practicality, supported, you can actually take it to a local dealer and stuff, decent amount of kit. And I came up with, even though it's not the most dynamically capable, they actually fall a bit across country, BMW M135i, which you can get 3-door, 5-door hatch, get on the 6-speed box or the 8-speed ZF, you're talking 315 horsepower, 3-litre straight 6, single turbo. They're great cars to just hack about in, and your average driver will get in one, go down the road and go, this is great fun. And of course, because they're so well supported, you can tweak it a little bit once you've got used to it, but they'll also do 35, 40 on a run, so you can actually drive it around and not get hammered by the running costs necessarily.
That's actually a really sensible. You're a good friend, aren't you? Really, because I think of all the answers we've had so far, that's actually your friend would be quite happy about that. I think. So yeah, I think was it an M135R you went for, wasn't it? Yeah. I think that'll be pretty much everybody out there would definitely consider that to be sporty. So yeah, I think that's a good shout there. Jess, what have you got for your 10 grand?
So I was leaning towards my love of hot hatches, because you can get pretty much anything you want for under 10 grand or around 10 grand. But I eventually settled on Toyota GT86.
Oh, okay.
Just because fun car, rear wheel drive. I don't know if those 2 seats in the back really count, but it is technically a 4-seater.
You can get in them. I have managed to squeeze myself into the back of one of those. It's not awful, actually. It's tolerable. Yeah. It's better than in Mark II TT.
Yeah.
I think it was James Taylor, so he's quite a lightweight build guy, so he's probably that was in my favour, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, fantastic idea. I mean, I have noticed on the group chat that Alan's actually suggested another vehicle, not content with his only one, and you found. Do you want to just talk us a little bit through that?
I sort of thought, oh, what would I have chosen if I had realised the word sporty was in there? And for just under 10 grand, you can get yourself, if you're brave, a Jaguar XJR V8, supercharged, obviously, for 10 grand in a good colour scheme. It's somebody can correct me on this. It's the Jeff Lyons body style, so the all aluminium one that looks like an old car but isn't. Yeah, stunning thing for 10 grand. It's a lot of car for the money.
Yeah, it's a shout there. It's a good shout. I'm amazed by the kind of the variety of what we had. Although we had a couple of Golfs, a couple of R32s, and a GTI. I think there's been a real good mix of different things. We had a few BMWs, but yeah, it's actually quite a lot of cars out there. And it depends how much you like your friend. I think what kind of reliability you've factored into that, and what kind of let's see what happens. Kind of sentiment you've got there as well. But yeah, it's fantastic to pose that one for you guys to see what you all came up with. I mean, I'm not sure how that reflects the kind of cars that you own personally, whether you kind of there's a bit of that in you or whether you play it completely differently for yourself. I know from my point of view, typically I will be a lot more cautious about recommending cars to my friends than I'd go for myself. I'd quite happily buy cars myself that I'd never recommend to a friend, because I just don't want them to hate me. But I'm quite happy to take the sacrifices of a great car. So, but then I guess a lot of you maybe just think, let them have fun, and then you keep something that's a bit more sensible and everyday. Just looking around in front of me now at the kind of cars that you guys have, there's a definite kind of variety out there. And then you look at Ian and go, God,
mine was just a story. It didn't really happen.
Yeah, but you still have a fairly unusual collection of cars. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it will be a car when we've got the engine out the MX-5, and it's painted, and got all the stuff back in it.
What I'm hoping is going to happen is that there's going to be an MX-5 Mark II with a Vauxhall Chevette engine in it.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
Just send it to some unsuspecting person and do a Lewis and just say, no, it is sporty. It is sporty.
It looks sporty, but it's terrible. It's got a terrible engine in it. So yeah.
Blimey. Right. Well, thank you for that. We've gone obviously over the hour, which we always seem to do. But rather than me just kind of winding it up now, I've kind of given Craig a bit of a mission for this week to come up with a fact of the week. Craig, have you managed to dig anything out of your extensive knowledge and archives?
Yeah, well, I had this one sort of like on the tip of my tongue for a little while now. Obviously, yesterday should have been the Monaco Grand Prix, but it obviously wasn't because of the reasons. But in 1963, the Monaco Grand Prix was the opening round of the World Championship that year. And that is the latest in the calendar year that the World Championship has been hosted. So that was hosted on May the 26th, 1963. Won, of course, like many Monaco Grand Prix in that period, by Graham Hill. So if the Formula One season this year actually gets underway, as it's supposed to, in July, that will break that obscure record for the latest starting World Championship season.
Oh, do you think it will? Are you confident that there's going to be a Grand Prix season? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. They need to reach 8 different rounds hosted across 3 different continents, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Formula One, surely.
Yeah, you don't think they're going to ride it off. Let's have a bit of, if you've still got your green and your red stuff there, let's have a bit of a vote on this. Let's say green if you think there will be a Grand Prix season for 2020, and red if you think they're just going to cancel it.
I think
that's it. Everyone's expecting it. Yeah.
Cancel it.
And I think I've got a couple of friends that are already on, they've already been prepped and for Austria. So
yeah.
Are you available for Austria? Yes, we are. Okay. Like media people. So
right.
Yeah, I'm confident.
And Craig, go back to you then. Do you think there'll be just 8 rounds over 3 continents and that'll be the season, or do you think no?
No, I think they'll squeeze in as many rounds as humanly possible. It's going to be fast and frantic, but there's going to be a lot of racing in a very short space of time. I think that's the way to put it. So you're going to be talking like triple, quadruple headers on a regular basis. For the rest of the year, you'll have some circuits hosting 2 Grand Prix in a single year, which is unprecedented in World Championships terms. But I mean, these are totally unprecedented times. So that's how it is.
I'm going to be racing around the Nürburgring in November. God knows what that's going to be like.
Good luck, Charlie.
What are you going to be in? Just like a skidoo.
There was a year where they had a massive hailstorm at Nürburgring during the 24 hours. So hell literally froze over in like just one part of the circuit, and it was totally unreal.
Green hell turns white.
In some ways, I actually feel like, because we would have been starting in March, and typically the first few races of the year there, you have snow and all kinds of madness. The fact we're actually starting in June, it's actually, I don't know, maybe it's not such a bad thing for like your first race there, but who knows what's going to happen? God knows. But yeah, November will be mental.
The championship you're going to be in, Charlie. How many cars are on the grid for those races? Is it a massive grid, or is it still just kind of 20, 30 people going around?
No, it's quite a lot. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I think it's something like 150 cars. So bit of traffic.
So if you turn up one day and say I came 70th, we've got to go, oh, that's quite good, rather than just go, what the hell happened?
As long as I don't get eliminated. They don't drive 2 laps and they just go, Charlie, pull over, you're eliminated. But there's 4 hours left.
But Charlie, what you've got to think about with Formula E is that you actually turned up to race your race, and that's not necessarily a given.
I know.
Ringer.
Imagine.
Did
so
that happen?
Embarrassing.
Yeah. I can't believe he thought he was going to get away with it, but okay. I think Stoffel called him out on it during the race or something.
He tried to phone him.
He tried to phone him.
Really?
Yeah. During racing, just to try and get him to pick up, because Stoffel was streaming his race on Twitch, I think. So he was trying to prove it that Daniel wasn't racing. Yeah.
Because didn't he done like really badly in all the other races?
He'd done really badly. Yeah. He'd been.
And then suddenly like.
Yeah, but like you said, the commitment is so huge. If you want to be anywhere near the front, you need to be spending hours. And if you don't want to, like even Charlie, you and I, we've been saying the days where you just don't really fancy it or whatever. But like it's so difficult. But
yeah, it's hard. Like this week when you've got beautiful weather, I don't really want to be indoors like playing on a computer when it's 25 degrees, because it's just want to be working on my tan.
Ready for the Nürburgring in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. Get that vitamin D, stack it up.
It's nice to have a bit of drama, isn't it? We've all missed it.
Yeah.
Good to have a bit of skullduggery and madness going on.
It's better than the Audi team just wearing the wrong underwear.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that happened?
Yes. Yeah.
How did anyone find out?
I don't know. Was it Lucas de Grassi was wearing short flameproof underwear when he should have been wearing long flame-proof underwear.
But this isn't esports
I think it was last
anymore.
year. No,
Oh,
this
that's-
isn't esports. That's last year.
So I had an experience when I raced in French hill climb when, like, because they come and check all our kit, and and we were racing it. It was crazy. It was like about nearly 40 degrees, and it was insane. And you're just sitting in the car for ages waiting to go. So quite a few people were like, oh, I'm not going to wear my I'm not going to wear my long johns. And then apparently there was this really kind of seedy marshal who used to like ask women to check that they were wearing their long johns. Like, if that guy comes up and asks to see your long johns, just like tell him to go. Oh God, yeah.
On that
note, yeah. Well, I'd like to say, if you could all just say a big thank you to Sue for joining us today. It's been really appreciated to have you along, and for considering the £10,000 question as well. It's been really fantastic to chat to you again after all this time as well.
It's been great fun to be with you all.
Good, thanks for that. I think the people here, we're all really enjoying it. I'm sure there's no reason for anyone to turn up apart from it's a bit of fun. So I hope to see most of you back again next week. We'll have another guest next week. The guest is set to be Indra Flack, who has obviously done the Great British Racing Drivers campaign, the portraits which are available in I think they're at Silverstone at the moment. So I'll get a poser out to you guys again during the week, unless you guys have any fantastic suggestions as well. Actually, I think Chris Sharp, who unfortunately wasn't able to join us today, has set a poser for you. So I'll forward that on to you guys. And whatever LA's on, we can all go and get on now. What you want, Ellen?
I just sent a message to the group, but I ended up sending it privately, and it looks a bit ropey.
Right. Who did you send it privately to?
Oh, that's private.
Okay. Neil's smiling though. Neil.
I was meant to go to the group.
Some guy behind me. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my God, I haven't got red for about 30 years.
On that note, everybody, thank you very much for coming along. And as always, I'll pop a comment on the ZoomZoomers. So anyone catching up can jump to the key points. We can have a look at the track going scrap and the pass the gift on. We'll have a look at Ray's fantastic 5-question quiz again, and we'll also have a look at Craig's fact of the day and that kind of thing as well. So LA, you need to go and have a shower, and the rest of us, hopefully, we'll see you all again next week.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.